Hello, 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 world. This is Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And I'm sure by now, pretty much everyone has heard about the Shannon Sharpe, the ex football player who is allegedly charged by a young 19 or 20-year-old white female of rape. Unfortunately, this is something that is happening to quite a few Black men. You can go back to Bill Cosby, you can go back to Kobe Bryant, and there are some others that have been accused. So I want to share with you because I ran across this video by Phillip Scott. And if you're not familiar with Phillip Scott, he has a huge following. He's out of Houston, Texas, and he is sharing a video that I thought was pretty interesting because the saying is by someone that, and you'll see who it is in a few minutes, that if it was a Black woman accusing Shannon Sharpe, that they wouldn't be asking for $50 million, and that Shannon Sharpe has offered $10 million. So perhaps it's something to it, but let's get to the video. And I'm going to stop it periodically and give my perspective on what my thoughts are. And again, I'm Louise Hicks. Please share, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and by all means, leave your comments as well. So let me go ahead and share with you what Phillip Scott had to say, which is interesting in the video he's introducing as well. So let's go ahead and share because it is interesting. And here we go.
So everybody is weighing in on the situation with Shannon Sharpe and Mace. Him and Cameron. Have they show together, and Mace had pointed out a truth about if Shannon Sharpe would have been messing with a sister, a lot of this probably would not happen. But I need to explain why. Let's go ahead and check that out.
Like, well, this wouldn't have happened with a Black girl. Let's start right there. With a Black girl, he probably would have paid child support. There's a lot of things that it would have been easier. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not for this, but it would have been easier with a Black girl if let's say she was from the projects. Her name was Latanya. He wouldn't have been paying what he's paying. I just know that much. So, y'all think I'd be laughing? I'm not trying to see. This is why I don't talk. You don't think I'm trying. I'm not trying to make light. This is a serious matter, right? This is a real serious matter. Let's make it serious because I'm.
Let me just pause right quick and say this. It is a serious matter, and they're laughing from this show here that's being shared by Phillip Scott on his podcast. And the reason I thought it was interesting is because they're talking about it would have been easier if it was Black women. And I agree with him. And I'm sure I've watched Phillip Scott talk about it, and he's going to tell why, but I already knew why when I heard him talk about this, why it would be easier if it was a Black woman accusing Shannon Sharpe as opposed to a white woman. And the fact that he's 56 and the woman is 20, I believe, or so. So we're talking about robbing the cradle pretty much, really. And he was warned by Cat Williams when Cat Williams did Club Shay Shay that went, I think they've had more views than any YouTube has ever had. And also Monique. who also spoke with Shannon Sharpe about these cradles. And that's what it appears to be. He's robbing the cradle. So let's go and finish hearing what he has to say because it is serious. This is not a laughing matter. So let's go ahead and let him talk some more.
I'm not trying to joke. People would say that a man only end up here when he's being arrogant, right? When people get a bunch of money, they think they do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? I've been rich. I'm rich. Killer's rich. He's been rich. You know, a lot of people been rich and they still are rich, but I don't think we've ever gotten to the place where we're takers. You know, this is what I'm getting at. And for him to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million if I know I didn't do anything. And I think the only reason the 10 million didn't work, Killer, I want to know how you feel about this. I think the 10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right?
Now, Mace, you know, he definitely told the truth. If this was a black 19-year-old, he would not be in this situation. Let me explain to you why. Because America does not care about black women, whether they're 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, or any other age that a black woman is. There's a lot of men who are doing things all the time with black women, and they egregious things, and sometimes it's even being reported to the police. And no, the police don't even care about it. So Mace knows that. Mace knows that, hey, you know, it's not going to be much of an issue. But if you deal with the snow, if you get one of them, it's going to be a issue. And the snow bunny has taken down so many black men over the years. Y'all have not learned anything.
Let me stop right here. Phillip, you are telling the truth. I am a black woman that's 74 years of age, been around a long time, old enough to be a lot of these YouTubers' mother. And I'm one that's very outspoken. And I know sometimes I hear some of the younger Gen Xers, millennials, and Zs, you're talking about the older generation, how we are afraid to speak up. Believe me, I have never been afraid to speak up as a black woman. I was raised to speak up. My mother passed away in 2015 at the age of 92. And believe me, she spoke up. And I would hear my mother speaking up and speaking out against racism to white people, young white people who I heard her when I was maybe 5 years old or so. Tell a white boy because they were picking cotton and he was the overseer. And she told him, stop calling us colored women Amy, because that's what they were saying to all the black women out there. And I was just a kid out there, wanted to be, didn't have any understanding. 4 or 5 years old, had no understanding, but I remember this so vividly when my mother spoke up and said, stop calling us colored women, because that's how that was their mindset back then in the day. And I was born in 1951, so this must have been probably 54, maybe 55, somewhere back then. But I remember it vividly. And she point blank stood her ground and said, stop calling us colored women Annie. I'm not your Annie. My name is Mary. Call me Mary. Because my mother believed in that scripture, 2 Timothy 1:7, that says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And you notice power comes first, because with power, you can have love. And she had a sound mind. So I'm one of these black women that's more mature. And I know, like I said, a lot of you younger ones, you think that black people, black women, more mature, black men are afraid to speak up. Believe me, I've told white people on the job, I didn't come there to be treated like a second-class citizen. My boss and their boss too, because I know my rights. Was going to go to law school, but I decided to raise my children instead. But I practiced law on myself and won my cases. And if you listen to any of my podcasts, as you can see, and because I talk about these, but right now, let's get back to this about Shannon Sharpe, because he's telling the truth. Black women are not valued in this country. White women are. They are the most valued women in America. And we as Black women, I'm going to speak out about it because I value me, and that's what counts. I don't care about who else. If you don't validate me, I don't need your validation because I know who I am. And that's how we have to start looking at things as Black women, because it's the truth. We're not valued in this society as Black women. And we got to start speaking up and speaking out about it. Even some of our own Black men don't value us as Black women and are disrespectful to Black women, particularly these rappers. They are a disgrace, many of them. So let's continue on with what Phillip has to say.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, in the last day, the white man will give you his woman. Why? Because giving you his woman is the way to take you down, Black man. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was telling your silly behind, right? But you don't listen. You're hard-headed, like Shannon Sharpe. Cat Williams told his silly behind. Monique told him.
Yes.
Ocho told him many times, right? Told him many, many times. I'm pretty sure people that we don't know told him. And that's been his MO. He's always dealing with the snow bunnies. That's it. He ain't walking around. And then if somebody call him out on it, well, I got my daughter and I had some children with a Black woman. That's all his defense is. Or people saying like, bro, that's not normal. That's all you date is a group of women outside of your community, just one group. Like, I can understand if he had like an Asian, a Hispanic, an Arab, like just different ones or whatever. But always white women, like that's a psychology there, especially for you as a Black man. And him coming from the country.
Let me share this right quick. There is a psychology there. I have a bachelor's in social work, and believe me, there's a mental illness. That's all it is. And these Black men out here that have this mentality, they need therapy. Shannon Sharpe was warned. I heard Cat Williams tell him that he would not want to be running down the street like Jonathan Major was doing. Jonathan Majors running down the street with a white woman chasing him. And what happened to the white woman? Nothing. Not a darn thing. And that's why Cat Williams was warning him, because he knew the game they play. And also Monique knows the game they play. And that's why I don't follow these Hollywood celebrities, because I know how they are. And he's telling the truth. Black men have been warned. They've seen it over and over and over, but they don't listen. And that's why they end up losing their wealth. Unfortunately, that's what happens. Lose the wealth. We have enough wealth coming through our community where we should own our own, teach our children how to become entrepreneurs. From infancy, we should be teaching our children how to approach life in this racist society that we live in, that's full of systemic racism. And we need to teach our children our history. Most importantly, teach our children our history. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that. Dr. Boyce Watkins talk about it. I talk about it. There are others out here who talk about it. We need to know our history. No matter what anybody says, we need to know our history. We need to teach it to our children. Teach them to become entrepreneurs. Teach them how to invest and spend our money. And that's what we should be doing, because apparently Shannon Sharpe is something wrong with him. Because a 19-year-old, when you're 54 or whatever, and he's 56 now, so, and I guess he's about 20 or so, a lot of these women are nothing but gold diggers. They're looking for athletes so they can get money, because many of these white women are taught that way. That's how they're taught. And we need to teach our young men and women how to appreciate one another, how to appreciate and be respectful toward one another. That's what we need to be doing as parents. But we need the education in order to get that understanding. And many of us are just not getting it. So let's go ahead and proceed.
And him growing up poor, we know living in poor areas, the folks over there is hella racist. We know that, okay? The ones with education are racist too, but they're a little bit more smart about their racism. You're not gonna catch it as quick unless you understand the nuances of passive aggressive racism, right? So even though he dealt with all those issues, I know he dealt with growing up, and you know, maybe he was clowned a little bit, you know, because, you know, Shannon Sharpe, he does have a lisp. He's country. Maybe some of the sisters clowned him back then, and maybe Becky and them didn't clown him. And so he's like, oh, my God, I'm going to go with them. But here's the issue. Shahrazad Ali said something I'll never forget about them being so nice. And Shahrazad Ali has said that the reason why Becky and them is so nice is because they've never been through nothing. She said, hell, if black women never been through nothing, we'd be nice too. And really, when she said it like that, it's like, that was like a truth bomb there just for me to hear that.
It is a truth bomb. And I know who you're talking about. She is probably, I don't know how old she is, but I've heard her speak many of times, and she knows what she's talking about. White women haven't gone through what black women have gone through and still going through it. I can attest to that as a 74 years of age black woman. And let me share something else with you. A lot of you think this stuff only goes on in the South. That's not true. I lived in California all of my life, practically, born in the South, and it goes on everywhere. It's not just limited to the South. But we have to know our history. We have to know how to articulate. We have to know how to document. That's how you get these folks with discrimination. I've never been fired from a job because I knew how to approach the races that I had to work with. And believe me, I worked for the county of Los Angeles, and it was full of them. And I was passed over for promotion over a white man that had no education like what I had, no experience, and I was expected to train him. And I said, hell to the no. And I didn't do it. And I got my promotion. You have to know what to do and how to do it. And we need to educate ourselves. Remember, your power lies within you. Let it loose. Follow the scriptures, 2 Timothy 1:7, that says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Start using those critical thinking skills that God has given you. Do your research, do some due diligence so that you will have an understanding of how to fight racism and how to become self-sufficient. That way, you don't have to worry about what these people do, because you know how to navigate through this system and how to facilitate and get your needs met on these jobs. And most importantly, become an entrepreneur. We need to unify and start pulling together, pooling our resources that we have, building financial institutions, medical institutions, manufacturing institutions, educational institutions. We need to have vision, hope, faith, knowledge, and action. That's what we need. And many of us don't have that. And we need to start learning. And black men, you need to stop your behavior. And you wouldn't be sued all the time by white women that mean you no good. And I'm not saying all white women are bad and that you might be married to some that do mean you some good. But there are ones out there, they're just waiting for your paycheck to be theirs.
Because black women and black men go through hell even in 2025. It don't matter if we're educated. It don't matter if we're not a criminal. Even they have talked about this. A white felon can get a job over a college educated black person. A white felon that just came out of prison doing a bid can come out of prison and get a job over a college educated, no criminal record black person.
True.
So even when they do wrong, they could fail up. That messes with black people. That you're doing everything right and the wrong still happening to you. And if you look at the history of how the same women has caused anti-black terrorism happen by lying. Look.
He's telling the truth. I know some people in California right now, black men, and it's the Emmett Till syndrome, where white women have lied because they wanted so bad to be with the black man. And then when they get caught, they will lie and cost that black man his life in many instances, unless he has a smart person around them that knows how to deal with white women like that. Because they are out there. Believe me, I know firsthand, they are out there. And they will set you up. Those kind will set you up, particularly when you have some money. And Shannon Sharpe should have known better. Here you are robbing the cradle from a white person that has nothing to offer you. And you have all this money, and from what I understand, you were coming into, or either you got it 100 million, and she wants 50 million, and you offer 10, and she said no, because you have more to give. And this society, just like what was presented in the beginning of this podcast, black women are not respected, not even by our own. Like I said, look at the rappers, how they disrespect black women. Guarantee you they're cowards, because they will not put out music and talk about other ethnic groups like they do black women, because they feel that we are not valued in this society. Therefore, it's up to us. I value myself, and more black women, we have to start valuing ourselves and standing together. That's what we have to do, and spend our money wisely and get with a man that respects and loves you. And I know what that's about. And because there are some loving black men that respect black women and love black women. So let's
look at
continue.
Rosewood, the movie Rosewood. Go watch it. It's still available for you to go watch. Go look at who lied and started that. Go look at who lied and started the anti-black terrorism at Black Wall Street. Go look at how the justification. It's always been Becky and them. Look at the history. So those Becky and them historically, and even to 2025, I've covered so many stories over the years. I never get this story out of Louisiana. They were both teenagers, the young black boy and the little white girl. She was texting him pictures of herself being naked. He gets charged with having a child, you know what? And she sent it to him, and he's 17. You understand what I'm saying? No accountability on her, nothing to her parents, none of that. Like the thing is, how many more brothers got to learn? How many more brothers got to be slayed, literally slayed, by the Becky Saurus? How many of y'all got to be slayed? What is it these women are telling y'all that other groups of women can't even tell you? The black woman can't tell you that. The Hispanic woman can't tell you that. The Asian woman, the Arab woman, no other woman outside that woman.
Well, you know what? They need to go and get some therapy. They need to listen to Dr. Joy DeGruy, who has written a book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. I have the book. I haven't read it all. And Dr. Joy DeGruy is all over the internet explaining a lot of these behaviors. And it's post-traumatic slave syndrome. That's what they're suffering from. And they need to go and get some mental health therapy. And I can talk about that because I do have a bachelor's degree in social work. So, and plus, like I said, I'm 74 years of age and I've seen so much of it. The behaviors of a lot of these young millennials, Gen Xers, Zs. We need some home training because a lot of us are out here on the internet just to make money and talking nothing but food talk, as my grandmother would say. And a lot of us are listening to that food talk and it's ingrained in our mindset. So we really need to start thinking using our critical thinking skills because we do have them. We just need to start exercising vision, hope, faith, knowledge, and take some action to better ourselves. So let's carry on.
Right. Let's say if this woman was a dark-skinned Arab, you think America would be caring about that right now? Any person that's visibly dark, they don't care. But when it comes to that white woman, as May said, he may have an issue with a black girl. He may have to pay some child support, like Anthony Edwards. He may pay some child support. He may deal with some drama, baby mama drama or something like that. But he's not going to sit up here and have to, he's offering $10 million because he know what he was doing. And she said, nah, I want 50. I want 50. And this man was set to get $100 million deal. Think about this. $100 million deal that he messed off. And you listen to the tapes, his silly behind didn't even realize, bro, I don't supposed to say certain things on the phone. At certain levels, you don't supposed to be even having a certain conversation on the phone no more. You're like, look, I'll see you in public, man. I'll see you later. Text messaging, all that record keeping stuff. Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. Or if I am talking to you, it's going to be about positivity. It's going to be about great things. It's never going to be nothing naked. I'm not naked. It's never going to be nothing negative. No. Are you upset? Oh, no. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in what happened. But hey, God bless you. God bless you. And I'm going to, I'm going to do some things to work on me. You don't even say you upset. You just say you're disappointed and you're going to just, change some gears on some things. And you get ghost. At certain levels, you can't even say you upset. You can't, especially as a black man. Well, if you're the white man, I don't care what white men do. Don't care. So like y'all mentioning Bill Belichick and all these other white men, they got these young, don't care. Those white, listen, let's call it what it is. You live in this country, and to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it real. Men like Shannon Sharpe being with 19-year-olds is not actually taboo in other countries overseas. It's really not taboo at all. It's taboo here, but it's not taboo. I'm just keeping it 100. People don't look at it like that. They say, shoot, this older man can take care of my daughter, so shoot, man, yeah, go ahead. I'm telling you, it's not really taboo. Now, let's say if he's in the 19, 20-year-olds, I don't agree with it. Maybe he should just went overseas and married one of them and made him his wife. We wouldn't agree with it. None of us would have, but hey, we couldn't say nothing and say, well, he did marry her, or whatever the case may be. He wouldn't even marry nobody young, 25, 26. No, he still want to be jumping in and out of different. And then now I just saw a video. The woman that he was on the Instagram with, the Michelle woman, she was white. She was up here talking to Tasha K. And this white woman sat up here telling all his business to Tasha K. I'm like, oh, God, Shannon. And in that little short clip, that woman made a claim against Shannon. So that Michelle woman, she about to come for his paper, too. Oh, man, Shannon.
Allegedly, let me say this. Some other woman has already come out against him. with the same allegation. So who else may come out? It may turn out to be like Bill Cosby's situation. It may be more. But you would think that they would have learned a lesson from that situation with Bill Cosby. These people don't care how much money you have. And you forgot one thing. You're Black living in America, a racist country, particularly when it comes to our Black men. And I have 2 Black sons. And that's the other reason I educated myself and I speak up and speak out, because I knew the consequences of being Black in America, particularly as a Black man. And I educated my sons. And that's so important. And like I said, my mother spoke up and spoke out. And I have a lot of my mother in me. I speak up and I speak out. And I make sure that I've done some research and I've done some documentation and I know how to articulate myself. Like I said, I've practiced law on myself only, and I've shared this in other podcasts that I've done because I do not have a law degree. However, you can practice law on yourself. I have done that and I've won. I was going to go to law school, but I decided to raise my family. So this is something we have to start educating ourselves and educating our children, and go and get some therapy. Go check out Dr. Joy DeGruy, who has written a book on post-traumatic slave syndrome. And that's what a lot of Black men particularly are suffering from. But they refuse to get some help. And now you get in trouble and you know white media is going to have you all over the internet because the white supremacists feed off of Black men losing everything they have and breaking Black families apart. That's been going on since I was a kid. So let's go ahead and allow Phillip to continue.
All them snow bunnies about to get a payday out of you, bro. You gonna be broke as a joke when they done with you. Trust me. And I know people didn't told you. I know they didn't told you. I know brothers. They were like, hey, man, you better be careful with some of that, bro. You better be careful because they get down this you know. But y'all, but some of y'all are so silly. You know, oh, but look how she look. Okay, her looks won't even last long anyway, bro. Because you know how, she age. It's not going to last long. It's going to be like this. Why you think the white man always trading the men and getting younger models? Why? Because he know the age, how his women age. He knows this.
And he's telling the truth about that too. There's a case in San Diego, because I've lived in California practically all my life, where this white woman put her husband through law school, so she claimed, allegedly. She put him through law school, had a good law firm going, and he decided to get with the young white. I believe she was his secretary. The woman was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. You can check it out. I can't recall her name right now. She might be still in prison, but she was on Oprah's show speaking from prison. And I remember the case vividly because I lived in California, not far from San Diego, within an hour and a half or so. And this woman went into this man's apartment and shot him and his wife to death. His young white wife, because the old woman, they had children together. He decided he didn't want her anymore. He wanted the young white, just like what Shannon Sharpe is doing. And he married her. And the woman went in and killed them both, shot them dead while they were in bed. This is a true story. So, Phillip, you're telling the truth. That does happen. Might not lead to killing like this woman did, but it does happen more than you think. It's just not publicized. That's the issue. Like a lot of behaviors of white people, they're not publicized like the media does when it comes to Black people. And that's a fact.
But yeah, if Shannon would have had a young black woman, nah, we wouldn't be talking about this. Shannon be signing his $100 million deal. The young black woman, she just want to be fly. Say, hey, can you put me in a house? Can you give me some money, but some fly clothes, so I can be stunting online? You know, hey, can you give me a car? That's really all they gonna want out of you. They're not gonna try to take all your money from you. They gonna want to be with you and stunt with you, or at least can you break me off some money every month? They're not trying to. Look, all the years I have covered news stories and celebrities and all these brothers, I haven't seen one black woman do this. Not one. They just may want their child support money. They, like I said, they may want a big house, some cars, either clothes, and all these other things like that. If Shannon would even been doing that and just saying, "Hey, look, you know, this one, I take care of her or whatever, right? Or I take care of about 4 or 5 of them, and all of them black, and he got them all. He taking care of them all, and he you know, he ain't marry them, but he making sure all of them good. Shannon would have had a problem with none of them. That I can tell you. But when will some of these brothers learn? When will they learn? But we're gonna keep hearing more and more of this. This is gonna be another cautionary tale. And I want you brothers to pay attention to this. Don't be Shannon Sharpe. Don't get to the top of your career, the top of your business, and have it all tumbling down because you didn't have no D-discipline, black man. You got to have some D-discipline and understand not every woman that look good to you is not good for you.
So true. It's about the fruit of the spirit. Believe me, self-control is one of them. And some of you just have no self-control. You get a little money and it goes to your head. And you stop thinking with up here. Your brain shuts off. And when you lose all your money, what you gonna do then? What are you gonna do? So you got to start exercising some self-control. Go read, I think it's in Ephesians, the fruit of the spirit. And one of them is self-control. And some of you act like you have no self-control, chasing after a young white woman that had nothing to offer you, and obviously what she was after. And you offered 10 million, and she said, no, I want 50. So when are you going to learn? I'm with Phillip Scott on this. When are you black men going to learn? And you are too old. You're 56 years of age. What have you learned along the way, Shannon Sharpe? What have you learned? It appears nothing.
Even if she is black, not every black woman is good for you either.
True.
Settle your behind down somewhere. Once again, Shannon wouldn't be in this problem if he had him a wife. If he'd have listened to Monique and chilled his nerves, he wouldn't have been in this problem. Fellas, you got to get out the game. You got to get out.
Well, I want to say something about that. If he had a wife, he still may be into this problem because of lust. I mean, married men chase after young women too. So he could have had a wife and still be in this situation. So a wife doesn't always stop men and women too, because some women do the same thing, have no self-control. However, it appears most men, black men that get in this situation, it's not the black women, it's the black men, 9 times out of 10, that get into this situation because of lack of self-control and PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Go and watch Dr. Joy DeGruy and start getting some therapy, black men and black women, but more so black men, because you're the most targeted ones out of our ethnic group. Black men, you've always been the most targeted. So you got to start listening and saving yourselves Saving yourself. Start listening. Stop being foolish.
He got to get out. Shannon, even the way he was dressing, you know what I'm saying? Like, brother, like, come on, you're not 23. Why are you wearing all that skinny stuff, bro? You too big, muscular wise, be wearing all that crap. Shoot, at least on TV, you know, when he wears suits or whatever, he looked like a man his age, but he sit down, you know, like, bro, like, do you purposely buy your clothes that small? Like, bro, like, let your blood circulate, Jesus. But yeah, we won't continue to pay attention to this story because it's sad, and you know, people tell it. I think I seen somebody left a comment on my live stream that we covered about this. You supporting the snow bunny? Yeah, I am. I am, because I'm not going to support black men destroying themselves. So yeah, I was the snow bunny, get everything she can get, because you know the Bible teaches a fool and his money shall depart. And that's what this is right now.
Absolutely.
This is a fool, and his money is departing. Shannon is 56 years old and haven't learned nothing in 56 years. Nah, bro.
Not.
Nah, I'm not down with any of that. I'm not down with it. So, you brothers don't end up like Shannon. Don't, please. I'm not saying you may have this kind of money, but hey, may you be at the top of your career. Don't end up like Shannon, bro. Settle down, get you a woman. And get out the game.
Okay, I agree. Let me stop. Again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host. Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Share, give it a like, thumbs up, leave your comments. What are your thoughts about what Shannon Sharpe, 56 years of age, and acting like a 16 or 17-year-old. Some 16 and 17-year-olds have more sense than that. And like he said, a fool in his money, that's scriptural, will soon part. And he has been a fool behind someone that obviously set him up, out here robbing the cradle that set you up to get your money. And you've offered 10 million and she said, no, I'm not taking it. I want 50. And who knows, she may get it. We'll follow up on the story. But after I heard what Phillip Scott had to say about Black women and how we're treated in America, that's why I wanted to share that, because Mays was right on target. However, Black women, be proud of who you are, because you don't need to be validated by anybody. You just need to respect yourself, be with someone that loves you and that you love and respect. And as my friend Lily Bell would say, be encouraged. Be encouraged. Thank you, Lily Bell. And I want to have you back on my show again. And I'm going to do one of your podcasts as well. Lily Bell Beneath the Crust. She's awesome. Has her own podcast called Lily Bell Beneath the Crust. And I think I'm going to do one soon, real soon, and put it out there for you, because I commented on one. And again, Louise Hicks here. Share. Please subscribe to the channel. And thank you to all of my subscribers who are followers. I appreciate you. Much love to you. Keep on sharing. Keep on getting more subscriptions. When you share, we'll get more subscriptions. I want to really build this channel up, because we're imparting information to empower our community. And that's why I started my podcast, because there's too much food talk out here, and a lot of it is coming from us as Black people. We need to show more love toward one another, more self-love, because if you show self-love, you can love someone else. And that's what we need to start doing, self-love. Do a self-analysis of yourself and see some of your shortcomings, and do some vision, faith, get some knowledge, and take some action because there is hope. Believe me, there is hope because I see it all the time. So many Blacks out here not doing food talk, sharing information to empower us. And that's what we need more of. And thank you all that's doing that. And like I said, I'm 74, and I'd like to see more mature Black people out here empowering these young people and helping to educate us. We need that. And with that said, always remember your power lies within you. Let it loose because your destiny is your command. I'll see you in the next video. And thank you all for watching. Continue to carry on.